Welcome to Retcon Air, the plotline repair podcast. Like the name suggests, this is a podcast that takes a look at the plot lines of movies, sitcoms, books, video games, and even Broadway shows. We'll break down who wrote it, how it was received by the community, and how it impacted us. We'll also take a walk through the main moments of each story, and of course, wrap it up by adding what we might do differently if we had the chance to repair a piece of the plot line that doesn't quite jive with us. We know it's a hell of a lot of ground to cover, so in the show notes, you'll find a table of contents with time codes to serve as a guide for each episode of Retcon Air. Sure, we'll cover comments and criticisms and even offer our own ideas on ways we could repair the plotline of each of these stories, but myself and the people you'll be hearing from are making these shows because we love these pieces of work and love getting the chance to talk about them. So, if that sounds good to you, stick around as we break down Bioshock.
Woo!
And today, trying to maintain that social distancing with COVID-19, Devin will not be joining us today on this episode. Sure, we'll miss him for different reasons, but, Shelby and I will get through this. We'll make it work. We'll figure it out. Shelby, you excited?
Yeah, I sure am. I mean, it's going to be different sitting here on the couch with you recording this, but got to do what we got to do for our people,
Yeah, man. And, who needs Devin? I mean, yeah, we need him to,
You need Devin.
I need Devin. But, yeah, the show needs him for, editing and whatnot. But, other than that...
Right. It wasn't totally his idea of anything.
No. All right, well, let's get down to business. You want to break down the Writer's Room?
Yeah, I sure will. Writer's Room is where we briefly explain who contributed to the story we're going to break down. Since Retcon Air focuses on plot lines, we'll focus on the storyline of the wonderfully creepy Bioshock. Bioshock was developed by 2K Boston, who later became Irrational Games. It was published by 2K Games. Irrational Games creative guru Ken Levin is responsible for coming up with this incredible concept. Released on August 21st of 2007 in the United States, this game genuinely left an impression on the video game community. You want to take us through Deep Impact?
Yeah, girl, you know it. All right, so for those of you who may not know, Deep Impact is where we break down the way the story was received both by us and the community overall. And for that, we'll start with reviews. So I'll go ahead and let you take the top positive, and I'll take the top negative. Cool? Cool.
Sounds good to me. So on Games Radar Plus, a man named Charlie Barat gave Bioshock 5 out of 5 stars. He said, quote, "How do you review a game like Bioshock? When describing an experience so overwhelmingly original and so mind-blowingly brilliant, where exactly do you begin? When every single aspect of a game has been creatively conceived, meticulously crafted, and lovingly produced as it has been here, how do you possibly condense your thoughts into just a few hundred words?" End quote. Same, Charlie. Same.
Yeah, dude. All right, so top negative review. So, being completely honest, when we searched for negative reviews, for the first thing we came up on was one from Ken Levin himself, and we just couldn't pass it up. Quote, "Speaking to a packed audience at the Game Developers Conference, 2K Boston's creative director confessed that he underestimated the impact that solving the mystery of Andrew Ryan in the game's second act would have on the player. Once players knew the truth of Ryan's identity and purpose, he said that they lost an important, compelling emotional connection to the game," end quote. I mean, disagree.
Do you?
So, spoilers. You find out who Ryan is, you find out his connection and everything, and you deal with Ryan. So yeah, that does take away that compelling emotional connection. But then you're handed an even more compelling issue to deal with.
Do you think so?
Yeah, because now you have to deal with Fontaine and his psychotic ass. You find out Atlas wasn't real, and it was this a-hole named Fontaine who the entire game you were told was just a dickhead.
We'll get into this in the plotline. Come on, man.
I mean, I'm just saying, I get what he's coming from, but yeah, we did lose that Ryan connection because that was what, drove you through the whole game up to this point. But then you lose that and get an even more compelling betrayal-laced motivation.
I see what you're saying. I just disagree.
Well, you know what? Agree to disagree.
Okay.
All right, so how did we experience it?
I was in college going to Kent State Tusk for engineering, and I made friends with one of my classmates there. I don't know how he knew this about me, considering I didn't even know it about myself, but he recommended that I play this super creepy video game called Bioshock that he thought I would love. And to be honest, this game just speaks to me in such a dark and slightly terrifying way. Bioshock has always been special to me, and I think you, Bry, were there to experience the entire relationship with me, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it was actually pretty cool. So, like, up to this point, like, I've always been, you know, waist deep in video games and whatnot, but you were always to a lesser extent. Like, you'd play them with me, but like, you never really had a series that was yours. Then you find Bioshock and you're just all in.
Yep.
Like, it was cool. It was awesome to watch you fall in love with a game and then just dive face first into it.
How annoying was it to experience Bioshock through me at first, though, when you were so used to playing video games? And what really made you want to play it yourself?
It actually wasn't annoying at all. It was actually a nice change of pace, because normally I'm the one sitting there playing video games, and you're at cutscenes when I need to be paying attention, asking me all these questions about, like, so what's happening? What's been going on? Where's your story at? So it was nice to, you know, flip the script. Now I'm asking you all these annoying questions.
Fair enough.
But no, it was not annoying at all. Like I said, it was really awesome to see you fall in love with a game series and be so devoted to it and really just want to play it and like fall in love with the story and everything. It was awesome. And then I just, from watching it with you, like, the story seemed pretty cool. I mean, I knew that at some point in time I was going to want to play it, but I also wanted to give it enough time that, like, it wasn't I just watched you play it and now I'm going to try to play it.
Right.
You know? All right. So you've pretty much written this entire script and it's driven by you. So why don't you lead the charge and start us off in there and back again and take us through the synopsis?
Sure. So the game opens up with a quick info screen letting us know that it's set in the mid-Atlantic sometime in 1960. Your character is in a plane, smoking, and takes a look at his wallet.
Not allowed to do that anymore.
Is absolutely not okay anymore. He takes a look at his wallet lovingly as he says, "They told me, son, you're special. You were born to do great things. And you know what? They were right."
Oh.
Right? Pretty epic. So then the lights go out. Common move in Bioshock, just be prepared.
All the time.
The screaming starts, also very common in this game.
All the time.
And the plane goes down. You struggle your way out of the plane and to the surface of the water that the plane luckily landed in, narrowly missing the spinning death that is the detached propeller of the plane. There's fire all around you, plane bits and pieces, and they all lead you to the lighthouse.
Man, what a way to start a game. You're just sitting there having a smoke on a plane, you know, enjoying it because it's the 60s and you can do that. And then, you know, your plane goes down and you're just in the water.
Yeah, it was definitely pretty intense. It's cloudy and it's ominous outside, so of course you walk into the lighthouse. I mean, with the plane completely gone and nothing else in sight, it's fairly logical. And the door is open, so...
Awfully convenient. Alright, so you walk through the doorway and are once again greeted by the Bioshock black. You know, just the ominous nothing you stare into. The door slams closed. Creepy. Mm-hmm. Creepy haunted house style-esque, you know, very, I'm gonna die. And some lights turn on as an impressive music starts to play. There's a big angry looking fella statue just staring down at you, and it is intimidating. And a big banner across the room that reads, "No gods or kings, only man." So you walk in, you walk down the stairwell, and then you walk back up the other side of the stairwell because you have to check every corner to make sure you didn't miss anything.
Another thing that you do in Bioshock a lot.
All the time. And then you realize your only option is to now step in this round hamster wheel ball thing that, you know, again, you're pretty confident you're going to die in.
Yeah, so this next part, it's good. Real good. A classic strongman voice starts telling you about the glories of Rapture, how he founded it in 1946. You quickly gather that the big angry fella from the first room of the lighthouse is this guy called Andrew Ryan. He talks about how angry he is with modern society. He defected from motherland Russia and does not agree with the way society is headed. And how Rapture captures his beliefs and free will. There's a nice screen up that shows some slides, but the best part is when the screen drops away. We finally get to see it. Rapture. Bri, what are your thoughts on seeing it for the first time?
Dude, it was incredible. Mm-hmm. So you just listen to this guy go on and on about society this and cancer that and parasite this and that. It's just kind of boring. And then, look, I'm sorry. I'm in a giant hamster wheel going to the bottom of the sea. I don't care about your political views.
Fair enough.
But then, you know, that little screen drops by and all you see is a cliff, but you can see you're coming up over this cliff and then you peek it and you just see all of Rapture and it's beautiful.
It is.
It was incredible. And then, you know, you're just going through on your little hamster ball of death, and like a giant squid skilly bops past you. There's a whale at one point in time. It added a lot to the whole, bottom of the ocean vibe you're getting. It was cool.
I remember being in awe the first time I played through, and the second, and the third, and when I started again for a refresher before this episode. I honestly felt the same way. It's one of those sit back and think, well, crap moments, but in the most beautiful sense of the phrase.
Oh, for sure. So, we see some cool little bits and pieces of Rapture, like Rosie doing some maintenance work, and, the whale I've mentioned previously. Another voice starts to yell at us, rudely interrupting the beauty of it all. There's a service radio on the hamster wheel submarine called a bathysphere that you are currently on, and there's a guy with an Irish accent speaking with another man. The Irishman, who we soon learn is called Atlas, is sending someone to check out who might be in the bathysphere. Once the bathysphere docks, you get your first taste of the truly creepy part of Bioshock, the Splicers. Mm-hmm. A hook-handed woman who sounds like she's totally lost her marbles decides that your potential rescuer looks like a punching bag, and she just straight up annihilates him.
Okay, so let's pause for a minute. You've just survived a plane crash in the middle of the Atlantic. You swam away towards a lighthouse while you heard the other people who had been on the plane with you scream as they either burnt alive or drowned, or did one and then the other. I don't know. You got locked in this creepy AF lighthouse and got into the underwater hamster wheel, and now you've just seen someone that looks like they came straight from a nightmare literally murder someone in cold blood in front of you.
Yeah, dude, it has been a rough 10 minutes. That
Yep.
is for sure.
Yep.
Jesus.
Yep, so after you get over that, the splicer disappears and you take some steps out of the bathysphere. Atlas, the Irish guy, guides you along, and you find something called Electrobolt. So in another wise moment, you go ahead and stick the needle containing that Electrobolt straight into your arm.
Yeah, so I mean, a random mysterious voice on the radio says, hey man, just, I don't know, stick it in your arm, let's see what happens, rock and roll. And you do it.
Yep. Like, your body is not used to you shooting up with whatever you just pumped into your system. We don't know this guy's past. Maybe it's used to other things. Maybe that's why he did it so easily. I don't know.
Who knows?
But still, this is something completely different. It knocks you down, and in a haze, you see some more splicers that you find out they're talking about you and how they want to kill you.
Awesome.
You kind of go in and out of the haze. You get your first introduction to a little sister and a big daddy. The little sister speaks in a really sweet voice, but you can tell something is not right about her. She calls you an angel, and she tells her big daddy bodyguard not to worry, that you'll be an angel soon. It doesn't make sense now, but it will later, and right now it's just creepy.
Oh, it's super duper creepy. Especially when she's looking at you with those glowing, like, orange eyes. You're like, well, all right then. So, this creepy AF little girl thinks that you're going to be an angel, tells her big bodyguard to just walk away with her, and eventually wake up. And when you do, Atlas asks you to make your way to a place called Neptune's Bounty to save his family who are stuck there.
Yep, because why wouldn't you trust this guy?
Yeah.
But then thinking about it also, what other choice do you really have? Try to navigate this huge underwater city on your own, or give this guy what he's asking for, be the hero, possibly have a chance of surviving to get back out? What would you have done?
Man, I don't know. I do not know. So, like, okay, present time, with knowing, like, all the tracking they have in planes, I would have just sat on the steps of the lighthouse and just waited for someone to show up for some sort of rescue.
But this is 1960.
Well, yeah, no, I'm saying, but, like, 1960 me, I don't know, I probably would have done exactly what this dude did. Like, well, what do I have to lose? Let's check it out.
Sure.
So, alright, so at this point, you start making your way through the area. An elevator crashes in a fiery mess and some splicers fight. You take another elevator up, and in a hallway, you see a shadow on the wall.
Yes.
Ooh, spooky.
Yes, every time I play this game, this scene really stands out to me. There's a shadow of a woman in a baby carriage. You hear the woman singing a sweet lullaby to the baby, only as you approach, you realize this woman is a splicer. And in place of a baby in the carriage, there's a gun. I think this was the moment that I started to realize how dark this game truly was and how much I'd love it too. Even on my most recent playthrough, this scene gave me chills. Did it stand out to you at all?
Yeah, like exactly what you described. You're just walking by, you see at the end of the hallway the shadow of this woman, and yeah, she's over a little baby thing singing. You're like, all right, that's not creepy. That's not nightmare fuel. It's whatever. And then you get up there, she spins and starts freaking out on you, coming at you. You have to club her with a wrench, because of course that's the only weapon you have. And then like you go to check on the baby, and it's like, oh, it's a gun. Well, I'm gonna take that. So it was intense, man. Alright, so after the initial shock phase, you realize you're going to have to kill this crazy woman, as I said, with a wrench.
I did with the gun, just saying.
Oh, I snuck up on her and just bopped her once.
I saw that gun, grabbed it, and
See, I didn't even see the gun was there. I just started swinging a wrench. So you do so, you grab the gun, and boom, you finally got something other than a wrench to protect yourself with from all these psychotic splicers that are running around. You head into a place called Foot Night. I just instantly
that's funny now, Fortnite. Yeah.
I thought of Fortnite, and then I thought of Footloose. The fact I said Foot Night correctly is amazing.
Yeah, it is. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. So yeah, you head into this place called Foot Night Theater, and you get your first truly good look at a little sister. Atlas explains that they aren't little girls at all. He basically insists that you forget all morals and act as though they're monsters. As you watch a Splicer try to come in to kill the little sister for her Adam, you get to witness the power of the Big Daddy, and he straight up wrecks him.
Yeah, so I don't know about you, but every single time I play this, I stand there directly where he's about to slam that body. It's quite a show.
For sure.
So after the little sister and her Big Daddy bodyguard leave the area, you can explore a bit, and you try to head straight to Neptune's bounty. Unfortunately, it's at this point that Andrew Ryan realizes you're in Rapture, and he puts that crap on lock. Andrew is a paranoid guy, which I think goes without saying even this early in the game.
Yeah.
But he thinks you're Russian KGB or even possibly with the CIA. At this point, after fighting a load of Splicers, Atlas guides you to the medical pavilion, and things get even darker.
Yeah, they sure do. Holy shit. So this place, man. You've got a couple different areas to explore, and I don't want to give away everything, but basically here's how it goes. In surgery, you pick up the incinerate plasmid, which allows you to melt the ice that's frozen in certain places around Rapture and also light people on fire.
Right, sure.
Because, I mean, why not? This allows you to melt the ice that's frozen in certain places around Rapture, and also, obviously, gives you the ability to toast the shit out of Splicers. In the funeral home, there's a super creepy guy speaking in the medical room. In a classic Bioshock move, you start to go towards him, the lights go out, when they come back on, he's just gone.
Of course he is.
I mean, why not? You search the back room and head out, only to be scared to the brink of death when he just pops out of one of the body drawers, all boo.
Boo.
Such a jerk.
Before you can head to surgery, you've got to go to the dental area where there's a promise of a telekinesis plasmid, since you have to literally blast your way into the surgical wing. You make your way back there only to walk into this room with a spotlight directed to some corpses and a shotgun on the ground, along with some sparkling ammo. Not a great sign.
No.
Especially in this game.
Anytime a game hands you a new gun and a lot of ammo,
you're in for it. There's a big wave of Splicers that attack you, and you pretty much throw caution to the wind and just close your eyes and shoot, if you're me anyways. Once the epic music dies down and the attackers cease, you can go on to explore and find telekinesis. With your new upgrade, you head back to surgery, grab a bomb that a nitro splicer is conveniently throwing at you over and over and over again, and you head on in. In the next area, you finally get to see Steinman, the crazy doctor that a lot of the audio logs that you might have been picking up along your way have been mentioning. The guy that has destroyed faces and lives of many people in Rapture. He's a literal lunatic. So you do what you've got to do.
You gonna make friends with him?
No, Bry, you kill him. You've got to kill him.
Oh. Awkward. So, after you get up close and personal with your first little sister Big Daddy duo, you obviously have to kill the big guy, and it's no little task. Okay, that's not really funny, but Shelby wrote it in here, and I read it, so moving on. So after you kill the Big Daddy, you're told that you have a choice on what to do with the little sister. Atlas wants you to kill them and harvest the atom. A woman named Tenenbaum speaks up and tells you that she pleads with you, to tell you, to save them. She even says, "Well, make it worth your while. The choice is yours.
So here I'm going to put in a little bit for the listeners about Adam. So Adam is used at Gatherer's Gardens. You can purchase upgrades for your character depending on if you want more plasmid slots or physical slots or engineering tonic slots. The Little Sisters are your way to get Adam, basically, in the game. So anyways, and let's be honest, it's kind of horrifying either way if you have to save them or harvest them. I know what I chose, but this is a no judgment zone, so we won't get into that. After you make your decision on the Little Sister, you're directed to one of the Gatherer's Gardens. I encourage you to spend your Adam wisely, but do spend it. These upgrades will honestly help you make it through the game without pulling your hair out. There's a limited amount of Little Sisters in the game, but there's definitely enough to get you what you need. Once you spend some precious Adam, you can finally make your way into the next area, Neptune's Bounty. This is where Atlas's wife and child are said to be, and he's promised to meet you there. He directs you to Fontaine Fisheries, but on your way, you run into your second deadly duo, Choose Your Fate. After some battling, you do make it to Fontaine Fisheries, only to speak with this absolute creep named Peach Wilkins.
God, I hate Peach so much.
Peachy boy.
So you knock on the door, and this dude in like a welder's mask.
Yeah.
Tells you that even though Atlas totally vouches for you, you've got to do something for him before he lets you in. So he sends you on your way to find a research camera with a request that you take pictures of some of the spider splicers, who are my least favorite splicers.
So this is the perfect name for the creepy female splicer that had just been ahead of you in the ceiling. If you notice, if you looked up, she's climbing all over the place and dropping the rose petals and whispering sweet nothings down to you.
God, the rose petals too were just so I do not care for this.
Just fills you with dread.
Right? Like there's nothing good coming from rose petals falling from the ceiling. I don't care who you are. Alright, so you are directed to the Wharf Master's office, and along the way, Atlas reassures you that you don't have to worry about Fontaine, even though people are acting like if you move the wrong way, he'll come after you. Atlas explains that he's actually dead and people are just afraid of a ghost. Ooh, spooky ghost.
Spooky ghost.
So spook. Once you fight your way in, you get the camera, the game changes a little bit. This camera is listed in your weapon wheel and you've got to pick up film for it in place of ammo because, you need film. It's not a digital camera.
How you take them pictures.
Yeah. You can use this bad boy to take pictures of any of the things in Rapture that tried to kill you. Literally any of them.
Even some of the ones that don't try to kill you.
True. So when you do snap a little pic of whoever, it gives you some information on little damage bonuses and whatnot to kind of help you as you level up, which is pretty cool. Peach only requires photos of 3 spider splicers, but I do recommend taking pictures of as many and all splicers that you have the film for. Big daddies too, those help a lot. And little sisters.
Yep, that's the one that they don't necessarily try to hurt you, but it's good to take pictures.
Yeah, man. You get more Adam when you do.
It's important to mention that at this point, that although this isn't a totally open world concept, at certain times you do kind of have free reign to explore the area, and this is one of the cases. You can run into the 3 spider splicers in any order, but they are located in 3 different areas. At this point, I just want to bring up another little side detail. In my exploration this last time, I came across a room. This room didn't stand out in my memory from my previous playthroughs, but it's stuck in my mind now. You walk in and you find 2 skeletons intertwined on a bed. Always good sign.
Yeah.
There's an audio log, and it really hit hard for me this time. It's a mother speaking of when they found out that their daughter had been taken for the Adam experiments. She's devastated because the little girl that had once been her daughter is now something completely different, a little sister. I think my perspective changed because obviously we have a kid now.
Yeah. So
it hit me really, really hard this time. Like, I actually teared up, which it takes a lot for me to do in a horror video game.
Yeah.
Anyways, after you get photos of all 3 spider splicers, you can head back and turn them into good old Peachy boy.
Ugh, Peach.
Peach.
God, I hate him so much. You talk to Peach, who allows you in, but has gone away from the door because he's paranoid and creepy and stupid. Before he allows you into the next door, you got to turn all your weapons in aside from your wrench, which Atlas encouraged you to do, as you still have your handy-dandy plasmids. And again, anytime a game says, hey, I'm going to take your weapons, but it'll be alright, it's not going to be alright.
It's not going to be alright.
It'll never be alright. So, with no choices available to you, so you give them up, and you go in, but the telltale scattered Eve and first aids everywhere give you a hint that shit's going to hit the fan in a pretty big way.
Yep.
So a fog appears, always a good sign.
Right.
And sweet old Peach starts talking to you about how Ryan had promised that Fontaine was dead, and now you've shown up doing his dirty work.
What?
Right? He attacks you along with a horde of splicers, and you obviously have no choice but to kill the dude, which is fine, because I hated him anyways.
Down with Peach, you know?
You search the rest of the area to find the entrance to the smuggler's hideout. Ooh. Where Atlas promises to meet you. As you walk in, he encourages you to use a lever to let him in, as he's just, stuck outside. Ryan comes on the airwaves, as he does, and to, threaten you against that move. Tells you not to do it. You clearly choose to do it anyways.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
So Atlas comes in and starts to try to open the submarine to get his family out, but at this point, Ryan releases a literal metric crap ton of spicers and spider splicers. They're crawling all over the window in front of you.
God, they're the worst.
You're locked in the building until things start to crash down and Atlas tells you to run. As you head to the submarine to free his family, Ryan blows that thing up.
Yeah, dude.
Atlas, a little emotional, tells you to get out while you can and to head to Arcadia. On your way to the airlock, you pick up an audio log from Peachy Boy.
Again.
From the grave. He explains that Ryan had asked him to give information on Fontaine to turn him in. Ryan didn't want to deal with Fontaine anymore.
Weird. So, at this point, Atlas sends you on a mission to avenge his family by killing Andrew Ryan. Because that's what you do.
That's what you do.
That's what you do. You've got to go through Arcadia to get to him. You step into this area and, well, it's totally different from the area you were, previously in. There's, actual plants in here. There's trees. There's...
everywhere.
Imagine the allergies.
What I'm dealing with daily.
Right. I imagine that'll be the one area of Rapture you just stay out of.
Yeah. Well, except it's the most beautiful area.
Truth.
So while we're in the first few areas of Arcadia, we learn a couple really important things. The first is that we finally get an explanation for the flashbacks, or whatever you'd like to call them, where your vision goes kind of black and white and you see some things.
Like ghost figures walking around and talking?
Apparently it's a side effect of the plasmids, and pretty much everyone who's ever spliced up has them. We also pick up an audio log from Tenenbaum. Here we start to learn the sad truth.
Oh, don't forget sad.
Also sad.
Yes.
About the start of the Little Sisters. She explains the recent success that they had with implanting the sea slugs that produce Adam into hosts, the little girls, allowing them to multiply the Adam production. Tenenbaum is impatient, but Ryan promises her that the first home for Little Sisters will be opening soon. She's found that young female children are the best hosts. But that's not even the really screwed up part. Dr. Yi Su-chung,
hate that guy,
who we meet soon when we enter the medical area, is a super creep and found a way for the Little Sisters to harvest the Adam left in the blood of dead splicers. Of course, the children were horrified at first. So what Dr. Su-chung did was mentally condition the children to see the bodies of dead splicers as angels, making the task a little bit easier for them, and that kind of explains why the little sister called you an angel in the beginning.
Gee, what a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy, for sure.
He's the worst.
It's good. It's all
He's
good.
worse than Peach.
It's all good. Dead.
Super dead.
D-D dead.
D-A-D dead. So, after that heavy-hitting shit, we deal with a couple more of those lovely new splicers. Houdini splicers. Ooh, magic.
Boo.
Boo.
I'm just gonna say boo about everything. Boo.
They can literally apparate out of nowhere like a Death Eater from hell.
Mm-hmm.
God, it's the worst.
Mm-hmm.
And, every time they do it, there's always that, mist of, red fog when they show up.
Yeah.
I just assume it's blood.
It is.
I just assume
for sure blood.
they show
enemies.
up in blood clouds. It just
Yes.
seems like a Houdini splicer
Yes.
thing to do.
Yes.
So, we're trying to make our way through Arcadia when some nasty yellow shit comes out of the vents, killing all the plant life. And this is bad because, plant life is the source of oxygen for Rapture.
Mm-hmm.
So, Alice recommends that we find Julie Langford, a passionate woman who is in charge of the research laboratories in Arcadia. He thinks she can help save the trees.
Thank you for reading that like I wrote it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so she sends us to find a rose.
Ooh.
We get to fight a few more Houdini splicers, of course, and we get that rose.
Yeah, man.
We get it back to Julie's office, but, well, Ryan intervenes again.
As he does.
He kills Julie, all for that Lazarus vector information that she's wanting to share with you, using the same gas that he used to kill the trees, as you stand on the other side of a big glass window and just have to watch.
Which sucks.
Luckily, the glass window fogs up a bit, and Julie is able to scribble a little message for you, which is the code for her safe. The door opens up, and inside of that safe, you find the Lazarus vector. You've got to find you find the recipe for the Lazarus vector.
Yeah.
You've got to go find all the ingredients that are scattered across Arcadia.
Yeah, because, you're only running low on oxygen. Who doesn't want to go shopping for, all these dumb ingredients? So during this hunt, you find what I thought was one of the most human emotional responses from Ryan. He talks about the little sisters and how haunting they are.
Truth.
God, they are. You get to hear the slightest bit of remorse in his voice, but then he continues to say that everyone is involved in what has unfolded, and that no one can go back now, and he's officially gone back to his typical crazy self.
Douche.
Super douche.
Super douche.
Super douche. So, you skiddly bop your way through Arcadia, you find all the ingredients, you throw them all into this little computer doodaddy,
yep.
And the Lazarus effect is, loaded in, and while that's all happening, you have to fight off this insane wave after wave of splicer nonsense, courtesy of Mr. Andrew Ryan.
Of course.
Yeah, because why not? You're only trying to save the oxygen, and he's trying to stop you. It seems like a weird thing to do in your city, bro, but you do you, man.
Yep.
Alright, so it's a pretty good battle here. And after the last wave, you can finally run back, flip the switch, and the trees come back to life. Woo-hoo! At this point, you are directed by Atlas to the bathysphere in Rolling Hills. Ryan speaks to you, realizing that you're not CIA after all, because, yeah, I'm CIA, and I got here via a plane crash.
Sounds pretty CIA to me.
You know what? Good point. He calls Atlas the roach that he cannot exterminate. The only new destination for you to choose from the bathysphere is Fort Frolic. And, so that's where we go. And a whole separate type of crazy begins here.
It sure does.
Ugh.
Upon exiting the bathysphere, you hear a new voice, a one Sander Cohen.
God, this guy.
He's somehow rigged it up so that you can no longer be reached by Atlas or Ryan. Here in Fort Frolic, it's only him. He's got a test for you before letting you in, of course. You've got to kill some spider splicers. Once you pass, the doors are open and you're invited into Fleet Hall.
Oh yeah, this is where he kills the dude, right?
Oh yeah. So you walk into the theater and you see a man playing piano. Cohen is yelling at him, but it seems fine. Until you notice that the guy is strapped down, and when he messes up, Cohen blows him up.
Yeah.
Anyways, you're tasked with taking his picture, the dead guy, and then with killing and taking photos of 3 other men to finish Cohen's ultimate masterpiece. Bri, you said there was a guy that you took out almost immediately, right?
Yeah, so there was, I forget what his name is, but it's the dude in the frozen hallway.
Yep.
I remember you walk in, there's frozen splicers, and you're just like, cool, not ominous, whatever. And then, you just hear this ghostly voice saying, I can see your breath. And you're just like, okay, that's not creepy at all. You get frozen. He walks up to your frozen self saying that he's got plans for you or some nonsense. And then you thaw out because that's what you do.
Right.
And I remember I'm leaving the hallway, and there's frozen splicers, and I'm thawing and killing them so I can root through the pockets to get the money because I need more bullets for my boomsticks.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I get to the end, there's 2 of them side by side. I take out the one on the right. I have my shotgun out. He's the one on the left. He's all like, boo. And I just turn and put 2 slugs in his chest and drop him immediately. And I remember I was talking to Devin in PlayStation chat when that happened, and I just started laughing. And he's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I just took out this big baddie in 2 shots, and it was the most anticlimactic fight of this entire game. It was a good time. But, yeah, I think it goes to show that if you keep up your photography, those damage bonuses really do help. So anyways, you kill the 3 guys, you put the pictures into Cohen's creepy fucking creepy masterpiece to complete it. If you pay attention along the way, you find a recording of a one Jessamine Jolene. Did I say that right? It doesn't matter. Moving on.
Yep.
Who has apparently become pregnant by Ryan himself.
Oh.
Yeah. I'll just leave that there for now. We'll come back to that later. Cohen is super proud of you for killing all those guys, almost in tears, because he's just weird like that.
He's real theatrical.
Oh, super duper, but like in the most annoying way. He says you're free to go to Ryan now. You've done for him what he wanted, and you can kill him here, or not. You'll have some slightly different outcomes depending on what you do. And once you make that decision, you can head on to... I want to butcher this name. I'm not even going to try to say this name. Shelby, you say this name, please?
I think it's Hephaestus, but I don't know.
That sounds better than what I was going to say.
Okay, Hephaestus. Yep. You head into Ryan Industries and find this awful hallway where Ryan's hung some splicers. And of course, he comes over the speakers and says he hasn't chosen the spot for you yet, but he implies that there will definitely be one waiting for you.
What a nice guy.
You listen to a recording in one of the splicers' pockets and find out that you've got to, quote, generate a sympathetic overload in harmonic core number 3, end quote. Simple enough, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, who doesn't know how to do that?
You head into the core for some information, find the ingredients that you need to complete an EMP bomb, and get that all ready to go. You go through geothermal control, work to boil off some water that's blocking the way, and load up that bomb.
Can I just say real quick, too, you're in a giant air bubble on the bottom of the ocean. Why, like, when does building... I get it's an EMP bomb, but, like, building a bomb seems like the worst idea.
These people really wanted to get into Ryan.
No, I mean, I get that. I totally get that.
It does its thing as Ryan sets off a self-destruct, as in self-destruct for Rapture. And you head to Rapture Central Control, because obviously you want to stop that. You don't want to die. When you're almost in Ryan's office, you find a couple recordings. One from Suchong that describes a baby. The baby is 1 year old, yet has the physical and mental development of a 19-year-old. You then hear, well, it's really horrible.
Yeah, it's not a good time. It's not groovy at all. Suchong is speaking to a little boy. He asks about the boy's dog and then requests that he breaks his own neck. Boy argues, but when Suchong says, "Would you kindly," you hear the crack of the neck, and the boy cries out, "No." Ryan is in his office playing golf because he's a dick. He explains the truth to you, that you were that child. What a twist.
Bum, bum, bum.
The offspring of Ryan himself. What a twist.
What?
Taken by Suchong and Fontaine and experimented on. What a twist.
Oh my.
And then we get the whole fun line of, a man chooses, a slave obeys.
A man chooses, whack. A slave obeys, whack.
Ryan hands you his golf club and tells you to kill him, repeating the whole "a man chooses, a slave obeys" over and over again as you just club him with this golf club. That's a good time. Yep. So you root through his dead pockets as opposed to his living pockets.
His living pockets.
And you grab his genetic key, which is like a weird name for it. Just a little gold floppy disk looking thing, and you pop it into the doohickey and it shuts the self-destruct off. Yep.
And at this point we finally hear who Atlas really is, which...
Oh, he's not really Atlas?
It's Fontaine, everybody.
What?
Since you've entered Ryan's genetic key and Fontaine now controls Rapture, he sends literally everyone after you.
Which is cool.
Now, I'm not sure if this differs depending on your choices throughout the game, but at this point, a little sister guides you away and out to safety, quote, but you fall down a massive hole in the ventilation system that you've been guided into. When you wake up, you're actually in Tenenbaum's safe house, which is pretty awesome. While you were sleeping, Tenenbaum was wiggling things around in your brain and was able to loosen some of Fontaine's mental conditioning. She encourages you to go seek some possible answers from Suchong's apartment in Mercury Suites. A little sister guides you out of there.
Yeah, when they're not all creepy and glowy-eyed, they're actually, like, kind of cool.
Normal little girls, yeah.
Yeah, they're not at all terrifying.
No.
They're just over there playing hopscotch and eating potato chips.
I mean, the dresses are a little weird.
Yeah.
But, like, aside from that, it's fine.
I mean, it has a pretty intense cult vibe.
Yep.
But, you know, I mean, it's whatever. They're not trying to stick you with their big atom needle anymore.
Sure,
and
right.
that's, I can overlook everything else.
Yep.
You know, in Suchong's apartment, you first hear from Fontaine, who's warning you against Tenenbaum. Then you find Suchong's recording where he explains Lot 192, an antidote for the mental control plasmid. Tenenbaum directs you to her apartment where she has hidden a dose of the antidote without knowing what it was for. Convenient. Fontaine lowers your max health like a dick because he spoke the words. You find Tenenbaum's apartment, but it is an absolute wreck.
Yep.
She lets you know that Fontaine must have taken the dose to his penthouse because he's a dick. The door's on the main floor, but you've got to find a recording detailing the code. Once you find that, Tenenbaum encourages you to finish up what you've started, to save the little sisters once and for all from Fontaine. You head into Frank Fontaine's penthouse, which, like, honestly, it was a pretty nice place.
Sure.
I'm not gonna lie.
Sure.
Of course, there are splicers everywhere, and he's got the lame Zen garden. God, I hated that too. Like,
Right?
walk through and like, what is this? Lame Zen garden, which would really be cool if it wasn't Fontaine's. Heading on into his bedroom, you find Lot 192 and drink that.
You drink that ish.
I'm not saying that.
Well, it was originally written for Devin, so I think he
You know
would have
what?
gotten a kick out of that.
That's fair. Tenenbaum warns you that there will certainly be side effects. Which, yeah, thank you for telling me there would be side effects after I drank it.
Absolutely. You suddenly find that you have absolutely no control over which plasmid is equipped, which is really fun.
Yeah.
Tenenbaum tells you that you need another dosage of Lot 192 to fully remove the effects. You've got to head to Suchong's lab. You fight your way into his clinic and find a second dose of Lot 192 there. You've regained control. It's glorious. Now, Bri, you taught me something here, or at least you told me something that I had definitely either missed or forgotten from my first playthrough. If you don't kill Cohen, you can find his apartment in Olympus Heights, and if you kill the Splicers outside of his door, he'll come out angry as hell, right?
Yeah, so when you see him at Fort Frolic, he gives you some fun stuff for doing this thing, and there's a music box. If you kill him, you get the key to the music box, you get some stuff. If you don't kill him, then, like you just said, when you show up at his apartment, he's actually still there. So you kill the two splicers that are dancing to some music. He comes in, super PO'd. You find out he's a Houdini splicer and a pain in the ass. You kill him, and then there's a secret door that opens up because you get a key off of him, and you go up and, into his creepy bedroom. God, it's so creepy. And there's a whole bunch of upgrades and whatnot to it. So it's pretty cool. So anyways, after finding your way back out of Suchong's clinic, you can explore like I did, or head to Point Prometheus as Tenenbaum suggested. Fontaine asks why you've chosen to trust Tenenbaum after being double-crossed, which, I mean, is a fair question. He encourages you to come talk to him at Point Prometheus. It's time for a totally wicked battle. It's you against the totally hopped-up Fontaine.
Or at least you think it is. Fontaine gets away.
Of
So
course.
Tenenbaum steps in and tells you, you've got to find a dead Big Daddy to search. She doesn't tell you anything else, just to find a dead Big Daddy. Not foreboding at all.
Well, that's fine. There's plenty of them I've killed along the way, so.
Well, there happens to be one right in the room.
Convenient!
So you find a suit control, which Tenenbaum says you must use to get through the door, as a little sister must trust you and open. It's this huge door, and there's like a little section in the bottom that only the little sisters
like a
can
dog
crawl
door.
through. Yeah, it is, but which is awful, actually. So anyways, Tenenbaum at this point calls the Big Daddies disgusting, and I found that very weird. I don't know why. I just didn't picture her being so disturbed by the Big Daddies. But anyways, you search around a bit. You find boots that give you the always terrifying sound of the Big Daddy stomping around. Not gonna lie, I ran around for longer than I'd like to admit just to listen to it. Fontaine has some nasty words for you, which makes me think he's maybe a little bit scared. You enter another area, find some pheromones to make you smell like the stinking Big Daddies. Those are Tenenbaum's words. Fontaine is more and more mad, threatening to go tear apart Tenenbaum's new place where she's got all of the little sisters that you've saved. You find the rest of the Big Daddy suit, get your voice changed over, and you're all geared up and ready to go.
Yeah, dude. I hated wearing the Big Daddy helmet, though.
'Cause
I will
the
say
vision.
that. Yes, because now you have, like, forced tunnel vision.
Yep.
But other than that was actually kind of cool.
I loved running around. I literally just, like, ran back and forth through different rooms just listening to the stomp. I don't know what is wrong with me, but I loved it.
So, you call out for little sister by taking a wrench and just banging on the vents they crawl out of. And you stroll on into the proving grounds after Fontaine. Little sister guides you to Fontaine, but now you've not only got to protect yourself, but now you have to protect her as well.
Right.
Now this gets a little frustrating because you have to wait forever for the little sisters.
They're so slow.
And you know what? Then they throw you a curveball and they're sprinting ahead of you. I had a couple times where I'm like, all right, I'm going to go through this trash can, get a couple things. I look up and she's like 10 yards down the hallway getting kicked in the face by a splicer.
See me, I was so worried about them that I was just like hovering over her. And I was like, oh my gosh, what are you doing?
Fontaine finally admits to you that he didn't have a wife and child.
Duh.
Obviously. And he does it in such a dickish way. God, he's the worst.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
You find out that he's totally spliced up and likely lost his mind.
Mm-hmm.
The little sister that you've escorted gives you her needle as Tenenbaum directs you to use it to drain Fontaine of his atom.
So for me, this battle was totally epic.
Yeah, it was... Visually, that fight was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So you find Fontaine in a machine, bald and just like hulked out. You drain him of some of the atom while he's in there, and then the battle starts. He just sends you flying. It's great. As you do enough damage, he transports himself back to the machine to try and regain some atom. But then you got to run up and you shank him with your needle again and just take it right back out.
Yep.
He uses different plasmids throughout the battle, which is pretty cool to watch. Turrets and splicers join in because he's constantly like, "Oh, you didn't think I have friends?" I'm like, I don't know, you're kind of a dick. I didn't expect you to have any friends.
Right.
And honestly, the fight kind of gets overwhelming at a couple spots.
Mm-hmm.
He knocks you down, but as he's going to do a typical woe is me rampage, the little sisters all just kind of start pouring out of the vents and all just bum rushing him and attack him and start shankety shanking.
Yep, so the little sisters kill him and offer you the key to the city.
Oh, that's so nice.
But you choose to bring them up, save them from the hell that they've lived in. Now, I know this is different depending on if you save or kill or harvest the little sisters, but I've always saved them and literally cannot bring myself to do otherwise, even for science. I'm sorry, everyone. If you want to know what happens, play the game yourself. You get to see a little emotional clip that shows one girl getting a diploma, one getting married, one holding a child's hand, and then it's your old wrinkly hand with an IV in it. And one by one, several women's hands grab yours, and Tenenbaum says that your reward for what you've done is that you finally got a family. All of the feels.
Man, all of them. And that's it. That wraps up the synopsis of Bioshock. I think your opinion has been made very clear, but Shelby, why not you tell us how you feel?
Yeah, so Bioshock will forever and always have the most special place in my heart. I don't have enough good things to say about it. I think that this is a game for anybody, unless of course you don't like jump scares or like super creepy video games, but I didn't think I really liked that type of video game, and guess what? I can't get enough of it. Right now I'm wearing a Bioshock hoodie that my husband got me for our anniversary, so like I'm obsessed. I'm absolutely obsessed.
That's just a little.
What about you though? What did you think about after you finished the game?
I loved it. So I knew I was going to like it from watching you play it years ago, but then to actually sit down and experience it firsthand for myself, it was great. It was a solid story. It was beautiful as far as like gameplay went. Like it was good. It was really good. All right, so that takes to the part of the part everyone really has been waiting for, and it's the retcon section. Shelby, why don't you go ahead and kick this off?
Okay, so I don't know. I had a really, really, really hard time with this again.
Dude, same, to be honest.
Yeah, honestly, like I've thought about it for like days and days and days what I would change. But so I have two very, very small things. Neither of them really matter. Number one, I kind of touched on this already. Tenenbaum being like disgusted by the big daddies. I don't understand that because she's so wrapped up in trying to save these little girls that she has been such a big part of making the way that they are. The little sisters, she developed all of that stuff. So she's trying to save them. So why would she be so against the creatures that are saving the ones that she hasn't been able to bring back to humanity yet? Why would she be so against their protectors?
I don't know. That's a good point.
It really frustrated me, and it made me kind of question her, which I hadn't really. And I didn't even the first time I played it. It was just this last time that I played it that I was really listening to her speaking to us, and it just, I don't know, that bothered me a lot. So that's the one thing. I would change it so that she was maybe more understanding of them, or at least so that she would admit like, oh, these are the saviors of my little girls until I can save them. something, you know.
Yeah.
But number 2 is I actually agree with Ken Levin. I agree with him. I think that the lead up to Ryan was so dramatic, and it was such a huge part of the game that when you got in there and like you didn't even get to fight him, it was just you clubbing him with a golf club.
Yeah.
It was just kind of anticlimactic, and he was just dead. Yeah, I get that you had the new Atlas is Fontaine and you have to go fight him and all that stuff, but I was kind of disappointed with that Ryan fight. I think that if I changed it, I would want to change it so that you could at least fight him. But 2, I do like that he didn't shoot up. He didn't use plasmids.
Yeah.
So maybe you couldn't fight him because it literally would have been you getting out your wrench and like whacking him in the head once and he'd be dead anyways. So maybe it made sense the way they did it. I just thought that was like such a huge part of the game, and then for it to just be over like with a snap of your fingers was just strange to me. But what about you, Bri? What would you change?
So, real quick, just to even comment on yours too, like I 100% went into Ryan's office pistol out, ready to put a bullet in him. Mm-hmm. I was really bummed out to find out that I just got to watch him die in a cutscene.
Right.
So I think that would be one of the things I'd change too, is like, I don't know, maybe let me fist fight Ryan. Or even let him keep his golf club. I'll keep my wrench, and we'll just brawl it out. Do
have
something.
Have a joust.
Yeah.
Just have a joust.
Yeah, just a little gentlemanly, fucking ballroom brawl.
Yeah, something. It was, it could have been better. But
So then I didn't really care for Fontaine, that final boss fight with Fontaine, where he just starts injecting himself with all of the plasmids and all the atom he possibly can, and he turns into that Dr. Manhattan looking monster.
Why didn't you like it?
I don't know. It just, I don't know. There's something about it just didn't sit right with me. Like the whole like, now he's just this hulking thing and can do all of this shit, and he's just crazy. He's psychotic, and like, I don't know. It just, I can't quite put my finger on what about it I didn't like. I just know that like it just seemed, I don't know, like rather cliche, I guess, maybe.
But I think that's so Fontaine, because you could, the way he treated you, pretending to be Atlas and trying to get you so concerned for his family when he didn't even have one, and then his comment about how maybe one day he would, it was just, he was such a shite person, just the awful person, that I think he's so crazy that makes sense. That him just like amping himself up, going all Hulk and becoming that, like that is him.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I do see where you're coming from, but I just think that adds to his character.
And also the whole, you harvest a little sister, you get way more atom than if you save them. The handoff of being saving them is that Tenenbaum will periodically send you quote unquote gifts where it's like there's still a bunch of extra atom and whatnot.
Yep.
So that's cool. But just the infrequency of that happening sucks. So like I hate that you're kind of being punished almost for not harvesting them by being given less atom. So now
isn't that life though?
Touche. All I'm saying is don't punish me for making
don't make me question my good decision.
I'm saving these little a-holes. Don't make me regret it by forcing me to scrounge for atoms so I can buy my plasmids and whatnot.
Sure, that's fair.
Other than that, honestly, I don't really think there's a whole lot really I would change. Like I really dug the story. I liked that for the most part. It was very story driven, but in each of like the chapters, it gave you the free reign to kind of explore and do everything at your own pace.
Yes, I like that.
Oh, the other thing too that just annoyed me more than anything was so your brain's all scrambled with your weird hypnotic BS that's going in there where they can utter phrases like would you kindly and now you just have to do whatever they asked you. When Fontaine hit you with what was it, code yellow, that periodically makes your heart start to shut down, so like as you're going through, your health is just getting hacked down little by little. Like I could do without that. I'm trying to explore and raid all these rooms and whatnot, and periodically I have like a mini heart attack and Fontaine comes in and starts spouting his nonsense. Like I assume they put that there to add a sense of urgency to really kind of drive you to go get the cure and do whatnot and all that fun stuff. But like I didn't perceive it that way. It was more of just a nuisance than anything, because it didn't make me feel like I needed to rush to get the cure, because like, well, I mean, I got time. I can just use a first aid kit. I'll be all right. And then I still checked every single room on my way to get the cure.
So I think that I see why for you it would be like that. But for me, because I have a very anxious personality, that was enough for me to want to rush through. And like, luckily I played the game enough that I have explored but that first time I played it, that was enough. I was like, yep, I have to go do this now. This is making me anxious. Like, I have to. So I think, I don't want to read too far into it, but maybe they were playing into people's different personalities where like if that does make you panic, it makes you go do it. But if it doesn't, you're just like, this is annoying. Like, why?
Well, Shelby, well done. I've only had a couple mild retcons, and you've almost talked me out of all of them.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just love the game. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. Honestly, like I said, I really don't think I would change much of the story other than like, the whole Fontaine splicing up kind of just didn't sit right with me. But like other than that, like it was a solid story. I enjoyed the ride the whole time.
Would you play it again?
Yeah, I'd play it again.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Would you harvest the little sisters?
Oh, I don't know. Like,
you don't have to say. We don't have to tell people. It's fine.
Part of me wants to see, because there's an alternate ending. There's a good and bad ending. You save them all. You get the whole. You gave them a life and let them grow up, and you got your family. I want to know firsthand what the bad ending is. Yeah, but I don't want to harvest them.
Well, and like, does Tenenbaum help you through if you?
Yeah, because
they've been harvesting them. You know what I mean?
How does that whole scene play out too? Because like, so you save them all. And when you wake up in Tenenbaum's little safe house...
Yeah, they're all there. Or is it just empty beds?
They're all there. And for the most part, like, you're a new face. So they're kind of apprehensive about you a little bit. But, like, for the most part, like, they're all just chill. Like,
they're just normal girls at that point.
Some are over there coloring. Some are over here playing hopscotch. One's sitting over there.
Rolling blocks down the...
Yeah, they're just chilling, being kids. So, like, I do kind of want to see what that scene looks like if you've been harvesting them. Like, is it empty?
Yeah.
Is Tenenbaum just... I'm sure she just treats you like shit at that point.
I would have to think so. And I don't know why, but like I can't bring myself to look on YouTube to like see what the alternate endings are and stuff. I can't. Like I just can't do it.
Is the alternate ending you do take control of the city? That'd be cool.
Oh, what if it is?
But like it's just like it would just be like a I don't know, you take control of the city and then you die down there like 3 days later because the Splicer stabs you in the face.
You like accidentally hit the self-destruct thing.
Because you're an idiot.
Yeah, something.
Well, all right. Well, now that we've just kind of BS'd our way through this, any other thoughts on it before we shut her down?
No, I just love it. Everybody listening, please play this video game. Tell me how much you love it or hate it. Like, I get that it's not for everybody, but man, it's just it for me.
Yeah, it was a solid story. I'm glad we decided to do this episode to give me the push I needed to actually go sit down and play this game.
Yeah, me too.
It was great.
It's nice to be able to talk about it more now that you understand it.
Yeah. As opposed to you talking, I'm just like, totally.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, then I guess now it's time we head back to the surface after our submersion into the underwater world of Bioshock. And like we said, we're glad we got to spend this little time talking today about your most favorite game ever. And I hope it was fun for all of you listening. And if not, well, oh well.
Thanks for listening anyways.
You still listened.
We're glad you're here. Or at least I am.
All right, so you're welcome to join us on Facebook, which is just Facebook/Retcon Air, or you can follow us via @Retcon Air on Twitter. Keep in mind that full episodes of this show will release on the 1st and 15th of each month. Literally everything else we do when we have the hankering to create and release when it's done. And wherever you get your sweet, sweet delivery of your audio goods, do us a solid and leave us some feedback so that one day other people will hear this podcast too.
Yes, please.
Get it out there. Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. If you really don't like it, tell the people you hate. Whatever you got to do,
Yeah. Just don't tell them why you didn't like it.
Right.
Just don't tell
them you loved it.
Yeah. Lie to your friends. Say you love it. Make them listen to it. All right. Well, that's it for us.
Yep.
Shelbs, I had fun. Did you have fun?
I had fun, man.
Awesome. All right. Well, hey, thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you next time on Retcon Air.